Rock and Roll Geek Show 755.
Still rocking after all these years.
This is the story of my rock and roll butler.
This is it, the show that started it all. Often imitated, but never equal. From San Francisco, USA. Online since 2004. It's the one and only Rock and Roll Geek Show. With the original rock and roll geek, Michael Butler.
Welcome to the Rock and Roll Geek Show. My name's Michael Butler. Thanks a lot for joining me. I really appreciate it. Today is Tuesday, January 10th, 2017, when I'm recording this show, and it is 6:07 p.m. Before I start the show, let me crack open this fine Tecate. This is the second one of the day, and you know what they say about the second Tecate of the day? Always the best. All right. Tonight is the annual, much anticipated and much loved and much hated as well. I don't know anybody that hates it, but a lot of people have said they loved it, so thank you, but I'm sure a lot of people hate it too. But this is the annual, the 12th annual. Is it the 12th or possibly 13th annual? I think it might be the 13th annual Rock and Roll Geek Show Top 10 Albums of the Year, give or take 4 or 5. This is the show where I'm going to play you I'm going to play songs from all of my favorite albums that came out, or not all. I'm going to play my top 10 favorite albums that came out in 2016. Yes, friends, I have not watched or seen or listened to any other top 10s this year so far. So this one is, I've not read any and I've not heard any. So this is all off the top of my head, the ones that I like. I'm not being influenced by anybody, although I did make a Facebook post asking for your top 10 albums of 2016. And there's a lot of people responded on there. So I will discuss some of yours as well. Before I go into that, I'm going to I have not thanked the donors in many episodes, so I think it's about time for me to thank the donors. In the background music for the donors, I'm going to play something that was in a lot of people's top 10s, according to the Rock and Roll Geek Show Facebook group. If you want to join the Rock and Roll Geek Facebook group that I didn't start, but I do approve people, and I'm one of the moderators, just send go on Facebook, look for Rock and Roll Geek Show, and I will approve you if you're not already a member. So a lot of people have, including Bob Heslep, who actually sent me, or he did not send me this because it would have just been wrong. A lot of people said that this should have been in my top 10, but it is not in my top 10. This is Butch Walker. The record is called Stay Gold. So a little bit of Butch Walker. While we thank the donors. By the way, this is not in my top 10. 2 reasons. One, I just got it 2 days ago and have not had a chance to give it a good listen, but I did listen to it once all the way through. Even if I listened to it a lot, it would not have been in my top 10 because although I do think Butch Walker is a fantastic talent, major talent, way more talented than I could ever hope to be, I think this album he's trying a little bit too hard to be Bruce Springsteen. This is my opinion.
Every day until my mom gets out, working at the mill.
All right, there are several ways you can donate to the show. You can donate through Patreon, patreon.com/RNRGeek, or you can just go to the Rock and Roll Geek Show page, rockandrollgeek.com or rockandrollgeek.com, any way you look at it, any way you spell it. And there's a link. You can donate on Patreon like Ken Kennedy, who donates $5 every episode on Patreon. Thank you, Ken Kennedy. Like my friend Chiaki Hinohara of the Metal Moment and Japanese Metalhead podcast. Is it Japanese Metalhead? I think so. Sorry, Chiaki. Thank you to Brian Springer for the $5 on Patreon. Dave Slusher, my podcast mentor and co-host of Mad at Dad. donates $5 every episode. Bette Wood, $3 every episode. Dan P., new donor, $2 every episode. Bruce McMillan, $2 every episode. Thank you to Eric Stowell for the $2 every episode. Thank you to Robert Harvey, $2 every episode. Jon Richardson for the $1 every episode. And Corey Koehler for the $1 every episode. That's on patreon.com/RNRGeek. This is probably the best song on the album. You can also donate through PayPal. There's a link at rockandrollgeek.com on the show notes of every episode and on the front page. Thank you to Jaime Batiz for the $55 birthday donation. $55. Thank you, Jaime Batiz. I take a sip of this fine Tecate to you, friend. Thank you to Zack Urlocker for the $10. And he also handed me a wad of cash right before Christmas, too. Thank you, Zach. Thank you to friend of the show and friend of mine, Todd Cunningham, for the $10. Thank you to John Ofenloch for the $5. Thank you to Jeffrey Caniparoli for the $2. Thank you to Lasse Satvedthagen for the $2. Thank you to Stephen Mascord for the $5. Let me get to another Butch Walker song from this album. Now you tell me this doesn't sound like Bruce Springsteen. Sorry, I can't put a Bruce Springsteen album in my top 10. I just can't. Nothing against Bruce.
Ain't you the prettiest thing from Georgia?
He's even singing out of the side of his mouth. Alright. Thank you to Michael Street for the $5. Thank you, Michael Street. And also, Michael Street, thank you for the kayak transducer mount. I really appreciate that. I have used it. And when I almost died in the kayak, the first thing that went through my mind was, God, please get me out to shore because I do not want this kayak transducer mount sent to me by Michael Street to get messed up. Thank you to John Skiller for the $2. By the way, Michael Street donated $5. Thank you to, pardon me, I'm Burma, it's fine Tecate. Thank you to BJ Lisko for the $10. Every month, BJ Lisko gives me $10. Thank you to friend of the show and friend of mine, Ralph Miller. Very generously, $10 every month. And he gave me a $55 birthday donation. Ralph, I take a sip of this fine Tecate to you, friend. Thank you to Brett Garske for the $5. Thank you to Rodney Cross for the $5. Rodney Cross. Thank you to Bradford Page for the $2. Did I say $2, Rodney Cross? He donates $5. Thank you to Craig Vasiloff for the $5. Thank you to Thomas Olson for the $5. Thanks to Sigmund Heidacher for the $5. Thanks to Chris Stanley for the $10. Thanks to Dave Jackson in the School of Podcasting for the $10. Thank you, Dave Jackson. Thank you to John Boveri for the $5. Thanks to Peter Spark for the $2. Thanks to friend of the show, Mike Mack, a friend of mine, $2. Thanks to Chris Harrison for the $10. Let me see if I can find a different song here. Let's see. How about this? Tell me this doesn't sound like Bruce Springsteen. They're good songs, well written, better than I could write. Just a little too much like Bruce.
Everything's going pretty party.
Come on.
Got back problems.
Come on.
Craving a Porsche. If you make it this far without killing yourself, you got it made though. Got a little place in Venice next to a lady with 9 cats.
Does it get more Bruce Springsteen than that? All right, back to the donors. Thanks to Chris Harrison for the $10. Thanks to Patrick Shanahan for the $2. This almost sounds like a cover of Bruce Springsteen. Maybe it is. Thanks to Paul Fondery for the $10. Thanks to David Ivy for the $5. Thanks to Jeff Thielke for the $10. Thanks to Greg Long for the $5. Thanks to Jeff C.A. for the $5. Thanks to Eric Lentz for the $5. Thanks to James Venners for the $10. Thanks to Dean Gillespie for the $5. I don't know why, but this town just seems so hopeless. Well, Tom Petty too, yes. Thanks to James Venners for the $10. Thanks to Dean Gillespie for the $5. Thanks to Kelly Mitchell for the $5. Thanks to Michael Street again for another $3. Thanks to Deborah Dreyfus, if that's your real name, for the $2. Thanks to Timothy Shaw for the $25. Timothy, thank you so much. Thank you to John Montgomery for the $100 birthday donation. John Montgomery, I take a sip of this fine Tecate to you. Thanks to Richard Fusey for the $2. Thanks to Timothy Shaw for the $25, new donor. Thanks to Richard Strom for the $5. Thanks to Andrew Howe for the $5. Thanks to Dale Roller for the $5. Thanks to Jer O'Carroll for the $5. Thanks to Kelly Mitchell for another $5. And finally, thanks to Christopher Del Grande for the $5. And thanks to everybody who sent me stuff from my Amazon wish list. And everybody who donated. It does my heart good to see all the donations. Thank you so much, friends. Please keep the donations coming, because without your donations, this show would die a horrible, putrid, stench-filled Bruce Springsteen death. All right. Might as well let this Bruce Springsteen tune run out. And thanks to Bob Hazlett for not sending me this, because that would have just been wrong. Paul Beatty also named Butch Walker Stay Gold as in his top 10. I think a few other people on the Rock and Roll Geek Facebook page did as well. I take a sip of this fine Tecate to everybody. All right, let's get right into the top 10 of 2016. Wish I had a intro for this segment, but I do not. It's just a regular Rock and Roll Geek Show intro. All right, I could do the douchebag. Maybe I'll do that. Let me see if I can find that for the intro of the week for this 2016 top 10 albums of 2016. All right, this is bull. This is very unprofessional of me.
From the files of the Rock and Roll Geek, it's the douchebag clip of the week.
This is your douchebag friend Michael Butler's top 10 albums of 2016. It is in order. There are a few ties here. It's very hard to narrow these things down to just 10. So, coming in at number 10, this guy was actually my number one. It could have been number one last year or the year before. But this is CJ Wildheart. Came out with an album this year called Robot. I bought it on Pledge Music and a hot sauce, which I have already used up. It was very delicious hot sauce. The album is called Robot. Not as good as Mabel. Mabel was a lot more of a pop sounding album. Robot was a lot more harder edged and more metallic, I guess you could say. But I like a lot of the songs on it, and it's good enough to be my number 10 for 2016. CJ Wildheart, who I say was the heart and soul of the Wildhearts. This song is called. The record is called Robot. This song is called No Rhyme or Reason. Number 10 on the Rock and Roll Geek Top 10 Albums of 2016. There you go. CJ Wildheart. No rhyme or reason. I was going to say Scott Sorry. Scott Sorry came out with an album this year called When We Were Kings, and it is not in my top 10 only because, one, I do not have it, and two, I haven't heard more than but like one or two songs on it. So several people put that in their top 10. Scott Lowell had that in his top 10. Alberto Artioli had that in his top 10. I think a couple other people did as well. I do not, only because I have not heard the entire album. So not fair to Scott Sorry, but sorry, Scott Sorry, it's not in my top 10, only because it's my fault. So coming in at number 9 is actually a two-way tie. Normally, I would not put a covers album. A covers album kind of disqualifies itself from being in my top 10 because But the covers on this album are all super obscure covers, and what the hell? It's Bunny Carlos, and I gave that. I reviewed that album, and I gave it a really good review, and it was one of the best reviews that I track reviews that I did of the year. So I feel it necessary for me to put it in the top 10. It's going to be a tie, number 9. Yes, Bunny Carlos is tied with Cheap Trick for number 9, but I'm going to play Bunny Carlos and a Cheap Trick. Chris Capel thinks that Bunny Carlos is a good album, but not good enough to be a year-end winner. Well, Chris Capel, it made the Rock and Roll Geek top 10. This is coming in at tied for number 9. This is Bunny Carlos featuring the original Cheap Trick singer, Zeno. This song is called Count on Me.
Coming home to you, but it's not in my life to make your wish come true. Is it true what they say, love will conquer all? 'Cause when things go wrong I don't feel that strong at all. Oh, you can count on me. You can count on me to believe it's true. You can count on me. You can count on me to be there with you. You can count on me. You can count on me to believe in you. You can count on me. You can count on me to be there with you. Just before I go to sleep, I look out in the night and down the empty street. Yes, I would give anything now to see your face again. But if I leave this behind, where will we start again? Oh, you can count on me. Count on me to believe it's true. You can count on me. You can count on me to be there with you. You can count on me.
There you go. Coming in at tied for number 9. All right. Bunny Carlos, Greetings from Venezuela, featuring Randy Zeno Hogan on vocals. Original singer for Cheap Trick. That is a cover of a band from a Norwegian new wave band called Fralippo Lippi. Now, that's practically an original as far as I'm concerned, because I've never heard of Fralippo Lippi, and I doubt you have either. Well, maybe some super geeks, even more geek than me, have heard of that band. But I like that tune a lot. And I gave that album, I'm holding the scoring system in my hand here. I gave that album I have a stack of envelopes that I did the track by tracks on. It's a stack of envelopes. I do it on the back of these bills that I neglect to pay. And I gave it a 10 out of 13. So there you go. That's a pretty good score. And tied for number 9 was the rest of the guys in Cheap Trick. They came out with an album this year, which I gave an 8 out of 11, which is probably similar to a 10 out of 13. Math ain't me forte to do the long division. But we did a track by track on the Cheap Chalk with whatever the Cheap Trick podcast is that BJ Cramp and Ken Mills did that I guest on occasionally. We did a track by track and we compared scores. Mine was the lowest score. I came 8.5 out of 11. BJ Cramp 8.5, and Ken Mills came out with Ken came out with 10 out of 11. So he thought it was a near perfect album. So coming in at tied with number 9, is not my favorite Cheap Trick by any means. As a matter of fact, I was a little bit disappointed in it, but it was good enough to make my top 10 albums of the year. I had a lot of bands to consider in this top 10. Peter Wolf was in there. The Pretenders could have been in there. Jayhawks had an album this year. Soul Asylum had a new album. Bob Mould from Husker Du had an album. Screamin' Jets had an album this year. Foghat. Wolf Hoffman came very close to being in my top 10. He's got a Headbangers Symphony, which is a quality album, but barely missed it. Descendants were close. A lot of people wanted the Descendants to be in the top 10. Several people came out with Alberto Artioli said Descendants. Several other people did as well. I can't see the entire list right now, but they barely missed. I'm a huge Descendants fan, but I don't think that album was good enough to be in the top 10. I didn't think it was a great album. It's just kind of a little bit generic pop punk for me. It was not as good as the last couple of Descendants albums. And I was excited to see a Descendants album come out. They almost made it, but they did not. Devin Townsend had a new album out this year. Didn't make my top 10. Snowy White from Thin Lizzy had an album that came out this year. Did not make the top 10. Blackfoot. That's right, Blackfoot. Ricky Medlock put a new Blackfoot together with all new. He franchised the band out. Did not make my top 10. Dinosaur Jr. had an album that came out this year. Did not make my top 10. Foghat, like I said, didn't make the top 10. But Cheap Trick did. This song is called, by the way, the record is called Bang Zoom Crazy Hello. This song is called, this is probably my favorite song in the album, one of them. This song is called Sing My Blues Away. There you go. Tied for number 9. That's Cheap Trick. That's a great tune. I wish the rest of the album was as good as that, but that is a great tune. It's good enough to make it to number 9, tied with Bunny Carlos. Okay. Number 8 is also another tie. Now, why so many ties, you say? Because some of these albums, I think some of these albums are equally good. And as you know, last year I think I had a top 14. So these would be my top 14 or 15 or 16. I don't know. But this is also tied because otherwise, if I didn't do ties, I wouldn't be able to make it a top 10. Okay. Other than that, there's no real reason for it to be a tie. But Ian Hunter came out with a really good album this year. I'm not the only one who thinks that. Alberto Artioli and a couple other people, I think, on the Rock and Roll Geek Facebook page also said that. His album came out called Fingers Crossed, and I'm always excited when Peter Wolf. I said Peter Wolf barely missed it as well. His album was a little too mellow for my top 10, and Ian Hunter's almost was a little bit too mellow as well, but the songs are so fucking good, and I'm such a huge Ian Hunter fan. It made it to number 8. Coming in at number 8. 2 in the morning! All right. That's Casey Kasem, in case you didn't get the joke. This song is called Bow Street Runners from Ian Hunter and the Rant Band.
London town is crumbling down, said the Penny Post reporter. Something's gotta be done about the murdering scum. There ain't no law and order. I said, whoa, whoa. In the gaslit alleys and the gin-soaked bars, lighting the streets of the ghetto. In the whorehouses on the open roads, and death lurks in the shadows. Stop thief, 500,000 people are running scared. Stop thief, and all we need's a hero to stand up to the gangs, and I know such a man. Harvey and the Bow Street Runners, and chasing them scallywags off of the street. Keeping the peace, keeping the pints at the Hare and Hounds. Then it's off to the neck extension. I say, stop thieving, stop thieving. That ain't gonna let you get away. Stop thieving, I say, stop thieving. You should know better than to tangle with the boys in blue and the men they call blind beat and the Bow Street runners, chasing them criminals off of the street. Blind beat and the Bow Street runners, they're keeping the peace, keeping the peace, keeping the peace, keeping the peace. Yeah, they're keeping the peace, 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 keeping the peace. Yeah, 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 yeah,
All right. So in order to get this down to 10, I had to have several ties. So this is going to, so where am I at? Number 8. So it's a three-way, it's a three-way tie for number 8. And people are Facebook messaging me now. I probably need to shut down the Facebook, but I got to read other people's top 10. So person who's Facebook messaging me, please stop. Okay. So in order to keep this to top 10, I had to make several ties. So this is going to be a three-way tie for number 8. Coming in at tied for number 8, original bass player for the Wild Hearts, Danny McCormick, recently just lost a leg, if you can fucking believe that, man. But he put out an album. He's got a band called The Main Grains, and they put out an album called Don't Believe Everything You Think, which is really good punk rock. I really like it a lot. Could be even be higher than 8, but there's so many good albums that came out this year. I think it was a pretty good year for albums, as a matter of fact. I mean, people who say that there's no good music nowadays, just gotta look, man. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not Mr. Authority, but I found some good music this year. Coming in at tied for number 8 with Ian Hunter and one other band, Danny McCormick and the Main Grains. This song is called Unscrewed. Not my favorite song on the album, but not my least favorite either. I just picked any one. All the songs are good. So here is Unscrewed from the Main Grains.
First test of you, the way you touch my
There you go. Main Grains with Danny McCormick on bass. The great Danny McCormick. Good luck to Danny McCormick with his health. Actually, Ginger and the Wild Hearts did a Fishing for Lucky's series of anniversary shows, and Danny McCormick played. I would love to have seen that, man. Anyway, all right. Back to number 8. Tied with number 8, 3-way tie. This next band is from Nashville, Tennessee. First album that I heard just knocked my dick in the dirt. It was so good. This album, not as good, but still good enough to be in my top 10. I had these guys going to do an interview on my show. I've been wanting to have them on for a long time. I still want to have them on. They said, "Oh, well, come on, but we're only going to do 20 minutes. We'll only do 20 minutes or something like that." And I said, 20 minutes? Are you kidding me? So I said, "Fuck it, I ain't going to do it. I'm not going to. I'll just decline." Thinking that they would call that they would not call my bluff, but then they said, "Fine, fuck it, won't come on." So I should have just said yes, and once they would have talked to me, they probably would have stayed on longer, but. I like this band a lot. They're one of my favorite bands, if not my favorite band in the United States going right now. They're called The Tip. The record is called Sailor's Grave. They are a fucking great, great rock and roll band. They have tons of attitude. The guitar player is a monster guitar player, like in the vein of Joe Perry. Drummer's badass, good-looking badass kid, and the singer's great too. And the singer hunts and fishes. And they have a side band called Fish On, which everything up my alley. They hunt fish, and they're a great rock and roll band. They're right up my alley, but they won't. But didn't have them on my show. Fuck it. Still like their album, Sailor's Grave. This song is called "Ain't Faking It." 3-way tie for number 8. Here's The Tip.
'cause now we ain't faking it. Well, 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 now we ain't faking it. What you see is what you get. Well, now we ain't faking it. Well, what the fuck did you expect? Well, now we ain't faking it. 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 Well, now we ain't faking it.
All right, there you go. Three-way tie for number 8. That was the tip, ain't faking it. All right, where are we at? Are we at number 7 now? I think in order to keep this at the top, I'm sorry, I got to keep doing ties. In order to keep this at 10, tied for number 7. Yes, I know this is fucking ridiculous, but what do you want me to do? All right, a lot of albums came out that I like. Tied for number 7. I didn't know much about this band, and the singer. Hold on, I'm gonna drop my thing here on the floor. The singer for this band, his voice started when I first heard his voice. It kind of annoyed me, but this album. The band is called Volbeat. This is going to be a tie for number 7. The band's called Volbeat. This album, they cover Georgia Satellites. Any band that covers Georgia Satellites, first of all, can't be all bad. They're another Norwegian band, I think, or somewhere way over there. And the song I'm going to play is named after a Thin Lizzy song, so what more can you ask for? This song is Black Rose. It's from a record called Seal the Deal and Let's Boogie. This is Volbeat. I'm not the only one who thought Volbeat was good. The album was in there. Scott Lull and I think a couple other people as well. Here you go. Tied for number 7, Volbeat.
County days till it's over, my friends, till it's over, my friends, come along. County days till it's over, my friends, till it's over, my friends, come along.
Feeling rich, feeling poor, feeling nothing more. Self-destructive on a roller coaster fireball. Cut her tongue, don't believe her what she says. She's on a hot cooking misery.
Left my heart on a shelf for way too long. Sick and tired, bring it up from the dirty floor. I saw the line of snakes that came to me. So innocent were the days, the taste of good memories. A bag full of hope that was only for me and you.
No more broken dreams, I feel like a loaded gun. Spinning bullets at your rubber up my control. Cut her tongue, don't believe her what she says. She's on a hot cooking misery.
Can I think, can I talk, can I do it right? Can call the doctor, he's as sick as you and I saw the line of snakes that came to me. So innocent were the days, the taste of good memories. A bag full of hope that was only for me and you. So innocent were the days, the taste of good memories. A bag full of hope that was only for me and you.
There you go. Number 7. You know, why can't I just do a top 16 albums of 2016? Fuck it. I'll do a top 16. But then I lost track of where I am in the countdown. So then that kind of screws me up. So maybe I better keep it at the top 10. All right. Tied for number 7 with Volbeat. All the way from Australia, now living in Los Angeles, Chris Chaney, one of the greatest living guitar players. They put out an album called Shift, which I don't think anybody heard, but I saw him perform a lot of these songs live at Slim's in San Francisco. They were so fucking good. And these songs sounded better live. I could watch Chris Chaney, I could watch the whole band Living In play. Everybody in that band, there's only 3 guys in the band. Chris Chaney is a monster guitar player. The bass player, I don't know his name, but he plays stand-up bass and he plays it like an electric bass and he's badass. This drummer's badass too. This whole band is great. And I really like this album. I think this album is quite underrated. The album is called Shift. Tied for number 7. This song is called Staring Down the Barrel from The Living End.
Tell myself that I just don't need this anymore, but I don't know if I can resist, 'cause I don't know when to stop, never know when it's time. So don't wake me up now, 'cause I'm almost out of my mind. Tell me what you wanna get out of this. Maybe all that I ever needed was just a fix. I wanna see what they got, I wanna see what I can find. So don't wake me up now, 'cause I'm almost out of my mind. Staring down the barrel of a gun tonight. When it's all done, what will you decide? You'll never get any sleep tonight. Staring at the gun, staring at the gun, staring at the gun tonight. Don't go turning the lights down on me, 'cause I don't wanna have to face what I can't see. Don't wanna see what I'm not, wanna see my state of mind. Somebody wake me up now, help me get down off this ride. Staring down the barrel of a gun tonight. When it's all done, what will you decide? You'll never get
There you go. Where are we here? Number 6? I think. Number 6? No. Is it number 7? I think we're tied for number 7. I don't fucking know. All right. Coming in at number 6. I have this album on vinyl. This is Degeneration. And this song is called, the record is called Nothing Is Anywhere. I was looking at Loudwire's top rock albums of 2016. I never heard of any of these people, man. Beartooth, A Day to Remember, Rob Zombie is number 2, and their number 1 album, The Highly Suspect. Never heard of these bands, so I'm glad that I did not look at anybody else's top 10. So tied for number 6, if I think that's where we are. Degeneration. Album's called Nothing Is Anywhere. This album is called the song is called Not Going Back. Not Going Back.
I was a kid, wide-eyed, dreaming of the city and smog. Staring out at the sky and past the dirty old vacant lot. My mother locked the door if I didn't get home before the morning light. But I never lost sight of the places in my mind. I'm not going back, not going back. Back to the trouble kid from a broken home. I'm not going back, not going back. Gotta get away, gotta make a life of my own. Learn to survive and you navigate the cold gray streets. Drinking 40s in the morning and the ice sticks to your gloves. I stole a kiss in the corner of a dark and holiday bar. Sketching on the rails of the airbound crosstown bus. I'm not going back, not going back. Principles lifeless kid from a broken home. I'm not going back, not going back. Better get back, better just remain alone. Get what you want, get what you need, get what you can. Never gonna make me, never gonna catch me up. Never gonna get me 'cause I'm on the road. I'm not going back, not going back. Back to the trouble kid from a broken home. I'm not going back, not going back. Gotta get away, gotta make a life of my own. Take what you want, take what you need. Get what you can. Get what you want, get what you need. Get what you can. Take what you want, take what you need. Get what you can.
There you go. Degeneration. Not a great album, but good enough to be in my top 16 of 2016. All right, we're at number 5 now. And again, it was hard to narrow it down, so I got another tie. My man crush, and somebody who I think is extremely underrated and put out a quality album this year, or last year, 2016. Here's my man Rick Springfield. The record was called Rocket Science. This song is called Down.
You've been down to the river and back, feeling like you're drowning again. It's as real as a heart attack. Up there like a mountain you stand. Your body keeps remembering when, but your soul keeps fading to black. And I know that you hurt, you're betrayed inside. I wanna be there when our worlds collide. Down, I'm never gonna let you down. I wanna be the one who stands his ground. I wanna be that man. So low, you never felt so broken. You're dreaming when you try to pretend, but you run and you'll never look back. Baby, life is hope, it's a beautiful thing. Give me some rope and I'll make you a swing for the little girl in you. I'm never gonna let you down. I wanna be the one who stands his ground. I wanna be that man. Down, yeah, heaven or heaven bound. I'm walking on holy ground. I'm never gonna let you down. Here nobody leaves without a scar. The deepest cuts will make you who you are. Down, I'm never gonna let you down. I wanna be the one who stands his ground. I wanna be that man. Down, yeah, heaven or heaven bound. I'm walking on holy ground. I'm never gonna let you down. I'm never gonna let you. I'm never gonna let you. No, I'm never gonna let you down.
There you go. Tied for number 6. Rick Springfield, Down. Say what you want about Rick Springfield. The guy's a decent rhythm guitar player, actually better than decent, and a great songwriter. All right, we're at number 5 now. Nobody had this in their top 10 that I know of, but I think this is a quality album. The singer had, the singer's name is Laura Jane Grace. This band is called Against Me, and I think they are better. His name was Thomas Gabel or Gable or however you pronounce his name. I liked Against Me. They were a good punk rock band. They're a Warped Tour type band, but I think there's so much since since Laura Jane Grace decided to live her life as a woman. I think the band looks way cooler. Their songs are better. They have a better impact now that the singer's now identified as a woman. He was married, and his wife said, or his girlfriend or whatever said she was going to support him. And this is what I heard. I could be wrong on this, but his wife said he was going to. So for a little backstory, this band is called Against Me, and the singer's name was Thomas Gabel or Gable. And I'm reading this from Wikipedia. I don't know much about this band. All I know is this band was a Warped Tour band, Against Me. Singer decided to live his life as a woman. He was going to change his gender to a woman, or at least live his life. I don't think he's had the sex change. So she decided to become a woman, and he was married or had a girlfriend. She said she was going to support him and stay with him, but what I heard is she could not handle it, and they are no longer together. But I think the band is way better now that the singer's name is Laura Jane Grace. This girl writes. I'm gonna go ahead and call her a girl because that's what she wants to be named as. That's fine with me. But I think she's a great songwriter, a fantastic lyricist, and has got so much attitude in her voice. And they look super cool with her long hair. He was a skinhead, or not skinhead, but a short-haired punk rock looking dude, and they look kind of generic. Now they look like a cool rock band. With she doesn't really look very feminine, but she's badass. And I think this record is really good. This record is called Shape Shift With Me. Didn't hear much about this from anybody, but I really like this record a lot. This is probably one of the records that I listen to most in my top 10. One of the records that I listen to most. This song is called 333. I could have picked almost any song on this album because all the songs are pretty decent on this album. There's a couple of songs that I don't really like that much, but this is a quality album. Go find this album. It's Against Me, called Shapeshift. The band's called Against Me. This record is called Shapeshift With Me. If you are a friend of the Rock and Roll Geek Show, I think you might like this album because it's really fucking good. This song is called 333. Coming in at number 5, Against Me. There you go. Against Me. All right, we're at number 5 now. This album technically came out in 2015, but it wasn't officially released until 2016. Whitford St. Holmes. A lot of people had this in their top 10s on the Rock and Roll Geek Facebook group. You Know Who You Are. If I can find people who did. I can't find it right now, but You Know Who You Are. This album is great. It's a throwback album. I really like it a lot. Whitford St. Holmes, Brad Whitford, the great Brad Whitford from Aerosmith, who I'm starting to think more and more is the real talent behind Aerosmith, and the great Derek St. Holmes. The record is called Reunion, and it is a quality album from top to bottom. This song is called Shake It.
We're gonna have a more. Well, there's some moves kicking, he's kicking in the store. I may be getting older, I got a trick up my sleeve. The power of sex will bring you to your knees. Lasting for life and looking for someone to love. I just need a little peace and grace from God above. This world is ever changing, changing hard for you and me. I still get excited when it's just a little break. Sometimes I get a taste. Sometimes I get a tease, well, come on. Someone like you and me, well, come on. I can please. I'm gonna walk down there and take your hand. So on, baby. I'm gonna be a lonely man, be a lonely man. I'm gonna walk down there and take them by the hand. Show them what they're missing in their loving only man. I'm gonna feel their body, feel it nice and close. Catch you when you fall and leave you like a ghost. Instead of looking for someone to love, I just need a little peace and grace from God above. This world is ever changing, changing hard for you and me. I still get excited when it's just a little break. Come on, shake it like you want it. Come on, you know just how you need it. Come on, you know I'm doing to you. Come on, and I'm looking for that love for you. Please, I'm gonna walk down there and take your hand. So on, baby, I wanna be a loving man, be a loving man. Be a loving man. Shake it like you want it, come on. You know just how you need it, come on. Shake it like you want it, shake it like you want it, shake it like you want it, come on. Shake it like you want it, come on. You know just how you need it, come on. Shake it like you want it, shake it like you want it, shake it like you want it.
Yes. That is good rock and roll, man. Yes, old men playing good rock and roll. Whitford St. Holmes. All right, we're at number 4 now. This album was recorded. Number 4, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. The number 4 is Ginger Wildheart. It's Hey Hello. Hey Hello 2, actually. He recorded this album with a female singer who I don't remember her name, but they released it, and about 3 days later, they were getting ready to go on tour, and the singer quit the band. She was, I don't remember her name, but in all honesty, I think her quitting the band was the best thing that they could have happened, because I think she had nerves. And the original recordings, the original album, there was like all these effects on the vocals, and it kind of killed the catchiness of the songs. And I think they put the effects on the vocals to cover up the fact that this girl wasn't a great singer. That's just my guess. But so Ginger pulled the record from Pledge Music. If you bought it, you were one of the lucky few to get it. I was actually one of the lucky few. Pulled the record and started the search for a new female singer for Hey Hello. And then ended up putting the record back out with a bunch of different female singers and Ginger singing as well. And the difference in quality of the album is night and day. I didn't really like the original release of Hey Hello 2, but this release is really, really good. And this song is not even the best song on the record, but I like it. I just picked one. This song is called This Ain't Love, number 4 on my top 10 albums of 2016. Hey Hello. The record is called Hey Hello 2. There you go. Number 4 on my top 10, give or take 6 of 2016. Ginger Wildheart, Hey Hello 2. This Ain't Love. That's a great tune. I don't know who it is singing that, but I really like her voice. All right, we're at number 3 now. This is a friend of mine from Germany. His name is Sven. We did a track by track of this album on the Rock and Roll Geek Show. And this album, I think we gave it a 10, or I gave it a 10 out of 11. This is a great album. The band is called Torpedo Head. I think Tim Binder had it a number, I don't know what he had it at, but he had it listed in his top 10. A lot of people had David Bowie in their top 10, Black Star. I didn't. It could have been in there, but I felt a little bit like, well, if you listen to my last episode, you'll hear my thoughts on the Black Star, the episode I did with Jeff Rugby. My brain is getting fried. All right. This is Torpedo Head. We're at number 3 now. This is a great album. And I kind of wish I was in this band too, but they're a little bit too young for me now because I'm an old man. But this is a great album. This song is called Not Too Late from Torpedo Head. There you go. All right, we're down to the final two. I'm not the only one who had this in the top 10. You probably know what the final two are if you've listened to the Rock and Roll Geek Show, but Jason Walpertinger Wendleton had this in his top 10. Several other people did too. This is Paul Westerberg and Juliana Hatfield. They had a project called the I Don't Cares. This album is absolutely brilliant. I think I did a track by track on this album and I gave it a very high score. I can't find it right now, but I don't know what score I gave it, but it was a high score. It is a great album. The record is called Wild Stab. This is my favorite song on the album. Probably not the best song, but it is my favorite, and I played it before. I really, really love this tune. This song is called King of America.
Cleaned your floors, scrubbed your toilets. Man, I swept under your feet. Worked in your stores, every boy gets one chance. You're laughing at me. Now it's my turn to bleed. Shout it out, King of America. I wanna be. Round in your factories, I did it all without a gun. Now it's my time to run. Shout it out, King of America. I wanna be. Shout it out, King of America. Give me some, 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 give me something I can be. King of America. I want your cheap little outfits. I've taken your sickening drugs. You try to sweep me under your carpet. Stand aside, I've had enough. Shout it out, King of America. I wanna be. Shout it out, King of America. Every boy dreams of me. Shout it out, King of America. Shout it out, King of America. Shout it out, King of America. Shout it out, King of
What a great tune, man. All right, we're at number 1 now. Thank you for sitting through my top 16. I hope you agree with some of them. If you do not agree, send me an email, rockandrollgeek@gmail.com, with the subject line, Butler, you have the worst taste in music. It is time for you to give up podcasting because you are a has-been. You're too old. 55 years old is too old to be judging music and playing music on a crappy podcast. Put that in the subject line if you disagree with my top 16. If you agree, send me an email, rockandrollgeek@gmail.com, rockandrollgeek@gmail.com, with the subject line, Butler, you are so right. Bridget West has the best album of 2016. All right. Yes, if I was living in England, I would be harassing Bridget West every day to let me play bass in her band. First of all, I'd kidnap the bass player. I'd tie him up, put him on the side of the road somewhere and say, Bridget West, your bass player has mysteriously disappeared. I'm your guy. You need to have me in your band. I think Bridget West is one of the most rock and roll people. Not only is she a beautiful woman, but her talent surpasses her beauty like tenfold. And that is saying a lot, friends. This album, top to bottom, a fantastic album. If you disagree with me, you can disagree with me if you want, that this album's not a great album, but you would be flat out wrong. This is the best Bridget West album, including New York Loose. I'm a huge fan of that New York Loose album, Year of the Rat, and even Born to Loose. I was a fan of the Bridget West Desperate Hopefuls, the album before this. What's it called? Whatever the one before. I'm not going to look for the name of it. I forgot all about all the other Bridget West because From New York with Love is the best album that came out this year, hands down. There is no question about it, friends. You can disagree with me all you want, but you would be wrong. All right. This is not even my favorite song on this album, but I'm playing this one anyway. This song is called Close to Defeat. My favorite album of 2016. Like I said, if you disagree with me, rockandrollgeek@gmail.com, but I don't know how you could. This album is in several people's top 10s, and it is my number one album of the year. And like I said, if I was living in England, I'd be bashing on this girl's door with my bass in hand saying, let's go to practice, because I'm your new bass player. All right, enough of my kissing ass. Here is Bridget West and the Desperate Hopefuls. Close to Defeat. Before I play this, thank you so much for listening, friends, and thank you for everything you did for me and for the show in 2016. It's great having you as a friend of the show, and I hope you stick around with me for 2017. I can't say that the shows will be any better. As a matter of fact, the shows will probably be worse, but I'll tell you this, they will be just as honest and just as much from my heart. And thank you so much for listening, friends, and thank you for the donations, because without your donations, this show would die a horrible, putrid, stench-filled death. All right. Find me on the Facebook, R&R Geek. Find this show at rockandrollgeek.com. Find me on the Twitter, R&R Geek. Find me on the Instagram, Rock and Roll Geek. Don't ask. Mad at Dad. Are we doing a show on Monday? I think we are. Yes. Mad at Dad next Monday. madatdadpodcast.com. All right. Here's Bridget West and the Desperate Hopefuls from New York with Love. Thank you so much for listening, friends. This song is called Close to Defeat, my number one album of 2016.
Well, defeat. I'm in rags I've outgrown, my soul in tatters cut to the bone. It's like I've been worn in. You gotta face it, I ain't giving in. It's a blessing and a curse. It's why I carry an empty purse, drinking bottles full of blame. I empty them out, fill them up again. When I'm close to defeat, the engine keeps turning over. When I'm low on belief, I always seem to cross over. Here I stand with my heart in my hand. Here I stand close to defeat. Maybe it's a sacrifice, living every moment on thin ice, but I never think twice. When I'm close to defeat, the engine keeps turning over. When I'm low on belief, I always seem to cross over. And here I stand with my heart in my hand. Here I stand, here I am, and I still stand close to defeat.
It's a rock and roll geek train wreck.